Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Momentum Podcast. I'm here with my wonderful wife, Evelina, and we are going to talk about relationships. Now, I believe having a powerful, strong relationship with your spouse is so important because you can marry a great person, but if the relationship is a little bit, then it gets a little bit difficult.
Yeah, that's right. And I love this topic about relationships. We've been married for 24 years.
24 years this May.
And I love something that we do every single Thursday. We go on a date nights.
That's right.
And I love this part of the week. This is my favorite day of the week. I mentally prepare, I physically prepare, emotionally.
Yeah.
And I love our date nights because this is a time where we connect. This is a time where we lay everything aside and we just spend time together.
So, usually when we go out somewhere and they ask, hey, what's the occasion? And we tell them it's our date night.
Yeah.
And most of the time they're shocked because, even though we look really young, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, how many years have you guys been married? And so I think it's super special.
Yeah.
To continue like pursuing each other, continue dating each other.
Yeah.
And it gives time out of out of the workspace, out of the ministry space, out of the kid space.
Yes.
Just to be one-on-one, heart to heart.
Yes.
And
True.
it's so powerful because we can connect at an emotional level where that's really not possible many times at home.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not
Yeah.
possible at work,
Especially if you have children, especially if you
Yeah.
have family, you have a job, and sometimes two people are working, raising family. You don't have time to connect, and many times people get disconnected with each other in their relationship. So I think this thing that we do, date nights,
Yeah.
is just something so fun.
And
And
one
good.
one of the things that sometimes couples do, because our kids are grown now, so somebody says, well, it's easy for you guys, but in reality, we when the kids were little, we actually paid for babysitters.
Yeah.
And so somebody might be calculating, well, babysitters is this much, then lunch is the dinner is this much, but it's money well worth spending.
Yeah.
Because you're investing into your relationship. And so I'm just a true believer in date nights, and I'm a true believer like, hey, you got to do like work overtime, whatever you need to do,
Yeah.
but make sure you got that date night
invest.
Invest
And
into
in
each other.
reality, there's always free babysittings. There's your
Yeah.
grandma, there's your cousin, there's
Call
your
up-
aunt, there's your sister,
Call up
brother.
mama.
Yeah, there's somebody that would always volunteer to babysit. So it's not an excuse not to spend time with your husband or wife.
Amen
So
to
I
that.
believe it's very important. So today we want to talk about some things in relationships
Yeah.
that I believe will help you stay connected more together. And one of them that I think, as we do premarital counseling,
Yeah.
one thing that I think is like a really big one. I don't know how you feel about it, but communication.
Oh, man, so huge.
I believe communication is like a really big key to understanding each other, to communicate, to
Yeah.
share each other's feelings, heart,
huge.
everything. So let's talk about communication.
So talk about date night and communication. Last Thursday,
Yeah.
if you remember, I was basically burned out, stressed out, all of the above.
Yeah.
It was a tough Thursday, right? I had a lot of stuff at the office with ministry, just all over the place.
Yeah.
And so we're driving, we're going out to a special place.
And our rule is we don't talk about
Yeah.
our business,
Right.
which we work together.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about church. We don't talk about problems.
Yeah, but that day, and I
Yeah.
love the way that we're able to be flexible because sometimes rules can get in the way.
Right. And that night,
And
it's
that
just,
night,
you had a
I was-
big day.
My heart and my
Yeah.
mind was just so cluttery
Yeah.
that I felt safe to communicate with you what was on my heart.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we have to create space, and we have to create an
Yeah.
atmosphere where both of the spouses feel safe
Yeah.
to speak their heart, to communicate their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't feel safe sharing my day with you, then I'm going to start talking to somebody else. And that means I am dividing up myself. basically I'm supposed to be yours, you're supposed to be mine, but
Yeah.
I'm splitting myself up and talking to and pouring out my heart
Yeah.
to somebody
So
else.
there was a moment like at that night you were
Yeah,
able to share
yeah.
for
And
a minute.
it took me a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Because we're driving what is like 45 minutes
40,
drive.
yeah.
And it took me a little bit, but thank God I have a person, you, that I was able to unload, tell tell you how I felt,
Yeah.
and you were able to, kind of bring me, navigate me through my feelings,
Yeah.
so that I was able. It's not like I'm a weak-hearted man. I consider myself a pretty sturdy, tough guy.
Yeah.
But there are moments in life where you just need to speak it out, where you just need to communicate
Right.
frustration, communicate your stress, and then have your spouse
Yeah.
be able to lift you up and navigate you through your
Yeah.
feelings.
Well,
So
like I had those moments where I had some stuff on my shoulders or on my heart, and I was able to, communicate that to you, and you were able to hear me out.
yeah,
So I think it works both ways, and I was able to feel better, feel understood, feel like somebody cares,
yeah.
understands you right where you are. So communicating, even in our date nights, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and the thing is that a lot of guys. So I'm a guy, right?
Right.
And so a lot of guys sometimes feel, which I'm gonna be honest. A lot of times you're processing it internally, and you're like, why should I bring, problems to my woman? Like, why do I need to do that? And so you're trying to solve, like men were problem solvers.
Right.
So you're trying to solve, but there's moments where it is just so much laid on you. And it's not like your wife doesn't feel it. Your wife
Yeah,
knows
you
it and feels it.
feel, yeah,
So why not
be able,
engage
yeah,
your wife and have her help you
yeah,
navigate through the moments of life.
yeah.
And most of the time when guys do begin to do that, it winds up in a you
In a
wind up in a
positive
better
way, yeah.
place. So communication is a tool
Yeah.
that the Lord gives us, not to get us into more trouble, which actually you can't get into trouble if you communicate
Yeah,
ineffectively,
in
right?
the wrong way, yeah.
But if you communicate effectively, it actually solves issues and it gets you to a better
But I
place.
also think that whenever you don't communicate on a daily basis, when you hold
That's true.
private information to yourself and not sharing with your husband or your wife what you're going through or your challenges or your problems, then that person doesn't know what you are going through and they don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
So I think once you open up on a daily basis, then you're able to pray for each other. You're able to encourage. You're able to, just be there for that person. But in reality, sometimes it happens where we don't communicate. We don't share each other's
Yeah, that's true.
to
We
each
hold.
other. We hold, and then something happens, and we're like, "Whoa, where did that come
Yeah,
from?"
so true. Yeah, so it's a constant communication.
Yeah.
I think the Bible puts it that we ought to pray continually. And so if we take the way the Lord designed us to speak to him and we place it into our relationship, that we ought to continually communicate.
Yeah.
Continually talk. And I think communication isn't only verbal, but there's nonverbal ways
Yeah.
of communicating.
Yes.
And so, sometimes you can say the right stuff, but your body language is definitely like
it's
the
tense
opposite.
and upset, or
Yeah, and so I think it's
Yeah.
it's so important that your whole self
Yeah.
is communicating to
Yeah.
your spouse.
I mean, there's so much things in communication. I mean, it's wide and big, but we're believers to communicate daily,
Yeah.
on daily basis.
Good point.
Yeah. Another one, what do you think about this one, is when people are, let's say, they're selfish, where they
Ooh.
want only like me type of attention. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
Well, I think number one, from the point of view of a guy, is that so we should love unconditionally, and so I think that is the place where a man should come from. Is love your spouse, no matter what is happening.
Right.
But if a guy is selfish, if a guy is just thinking about himself, hey, where's my lunch? Hey, where's my dinner?
Or a
Where's my
woman.
socks?
Yeah.
And that just becomes a little bit tough because in Amos 3:3 it says, "Can two walk together unless they agree?"
Yeah.
And so I always look at marriage as a dance, right?
I like that.
And so in a
It's
dance,
give and take.
yeah, yeah, you go forward, I go
It's
back,
a
you
beautiful
go
harmony.
back, I go
Yeah.
forward. And if there's no, a big word,
Yeah.
reciprocal action, you give some, I give some, back
Yeah.
and forth, then it just becomes a one-way street where it becomes just all about you or all about
Yeah.
me, and
That's true.
that's not what a marriage looks like. And so I would say that selfishness doesn't have a place in a healthy marriage,
Yeah.
but in fact it becomes like a cancer
Yeah.
where when it's all about the guy, or where it's all about the girl,
Yeah.
it becomes very difficult to operate in that
Yeah,
atmosphere.
I want to go even deeper than
Come
that.
on, go
I
deeper,
think
baby.
that when you are putting your whole value and your happiness on another person, in reality, that would always rob you of your happiness
Mm,
because there's things that only God can fulfill you in.
that's good.
So then when you receive all of that from God, now you're able to operate out of overflow.
Yeah,
So out of the overflow of your
that's good.
happiness and your wholeness, you're able to love now the other person. So it's no more like, oh, look at me, oh, give me, oh,
Yeah.
you're constantly like on this negative, like not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Now, on the flip side, I would say there's seasons in our life, right? Just think about where someone's going through some kind of health battle,
right,
or someone's going through difficult moments. I think we have to realize that, look, I'm going to give more right now.
yeah,
I'm not going to expect
to ask
something
for,
from you
yeah,
while you're going through
yes,
some situation in life. And so at that moment, I'm going to carry you.
yeah,
And I'm not going to, like, oh, I'm 50%, you're 50. No, it's not about that.
yeah,
It's not about percentage. It's about, look, you are at a place of your
yeah,
life where you need more of me right now.
yes,
And I'm more than happy to give it. And I don't want people to feel like, well, she's just being selfish. Not at all. It's just some moments in life, your spouse will require more
yeah,
attention, and we shouldn't consider that
yeah,
as, wow, she's being oh, she's just thinking about
yeah,
herself.
yeah,
Not at all. There's moments where you need to give more attention to your spouse.
yeah. That's very true. I agree with
Mm,
that.
you like
Okay,
that one, don't
so
you?
how
Let's
about
go.
the power of words? I think many times in marriages we could really hurt each other,
Mm,
speaking certain words to each
yeah.
other. Um, uh, Maybe a person is in pain or hurt or offended or just not understanding their partner, and they sometimes out of that anger, out of that hurt, they speak those words back into their partner. How would you say is important? Why is it important to speak the right words
Yeah.
to your partner in
Well,
marriage?
I think uncontrollable emotions are like an unbridled horse.
Yeah,
Uncontrollable emotions are like a wild horse, if you
yeah,
will, right? And when there's a wild horse, the horse can kick, it can damage, it can
yeah,
do so much. And
yep,
so I think as we mature, as we grow, we need to be able to harness our emotions and be able to release them in a way that's
yeah,
constructive. Now, it's not always possible. Sometimes a person can be so broken
mm-hmm,
that it's hard to channel those
yeah,
emotions in the right way. But typically speaking, when you find yourself in a difficult situation, and you can channel your emotions in the right way, that will help to heal
yeah,
the conflict, to heal the situation so much faster. It's like applying, some medicine to your wound.
yeah,
Because if you don't apply it, if you tear it even more,
yeah,
then the wound will heal so much longer.
yeah. That's true.
And so speaking those words, speaking the right words,
Mm-hmm.
even though it hurts,
Yeah,
even though everything within you say, well, she's guilty. Well, what if she would have did this, I wouldn't be in this situation. But you're in the situation now.
Yeah.
So why not try to make it
Right.
better? And so, yeah, we go through processes, right? When we've gone through trauma, when we gone through pain, we go through processes. And so sometimes it's hard to jump from pain all the way to healing right
Yeah.
away in 5 minutes. So I get it. Sometimes you have to go through those points where you have to say,
Yeah.
you really hurt me. You know, you really caused so much damage to me right now. It's okay to be clear. It's okay to be honest.
Right.
But what you have to realize is you're here. It's now.
Acknowledging.
You acknowledge it, and then you
And-
say, "Look,
and
I'm
heal.
hurt,
Yeah.
but can we step through this together?
Yeah.
We can do it together."
Yeah, that's so true.
And so when you're doing that, when you're able to channel your emotions or use your emotions in the way where they bring healing,
Yeah.
man, both of you guys are winning
Yeah.
at that point.
I think that the words, they shape our future, they shape
That's
our
right.
life. And it's so important to speak the words of life over your situations, over your relationship, over your husband or a wife. Many times when we are so hurt, we want to criticize, we want to, speak things that later we could regret.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to understand how powerful our words
Yeah.
are,
Oh.
because they literally can speak life and death into our situation or our future.
Yeah, think
So,
about
yeah.
the times where somebody might say, "Hey, you have been doing this so often.
Yeah.
You've been doing it over and over again," and that might be true, right? That might be historically
Mm-hmm.
true, but what is that doing to repair, or what's that doing to solve the problem?
Yeah.
And so we have to, I believe, in every conflict, we have to apply wisdom. And so
Yeah.
my thing is, instead of conflict bringing hurt and
Mm-hmm.
pain and bringing you down as a couple,
Yeah.
why don't we use conflict to bring ourselves up and to bring growth?
Yeah.
It's up to us. We can use that problem as a tool of growth,
Mm-hmm.
or we can use that problem as a tool to damage us even further.
Yeah.
So I choose to speak words
Yeah.
that will bring us up and make our relationship stronger.
So if there was already damage done, let's just say there was words spoken, there
Yeah.
was things done. I think this is where you could apply forgiveness. This is where you could apply grace upon grace. This is where you could apply healing
Mm.
process. So couples, they do need to go through the stages of healing
Yeah.
and restoration and understanding the power of words, so that crazy cycle doesn't keep repeating.
good.
I think it's very important. And many times we do counseling, and there is these crazy cycles
That's right.
that many times couples, they don't realize. They keep repeating, they keep saying the same things year after year. So you got to recognize the crazy cycle that you're doing, and you got to say, okay, I need to stop this.
That's right. Yeah, you make a decision.
You have to make a decision. Yeah.
And I love what the word decision is to cut off other options.
Yeah.
And so when you cut off other options
Yeah.
and you say, this is our only option,
Yes.
let's do it, let's make this work, and let's speak life
Yeah.
into each other, let's choose our words wisely,
Yes.
then you see it's a step-by-step process. It might not
Yeah.
happen that same day,
Yeah.
but day by day, in you speaking life
Yeah.
into each other, you're going to see great
And
growth.
also not to forget that you are a team.
That's right.
God has put you together for a purpose and a reason in your marriage, and you got to operate as a team, couple.
Yeah.
Many times we joke around, we say we're the power couple. We do a whole life together. We work together.
Oh, that's not a
We
joke,
do-
baby. That's for real.
Yeah, we run a company together. We
Yeah.
are in church together, do ministry. We raise our kids together. We do everything together. So I do believe in a team couple, a team, a powerful team in a
That's
marriage.
right. That's right.
I think when you begin to isolate, when you begin to do your thing, then the other person does their thing, you begin to grow apart from each other.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that you are a team
I love it.
and you're on the same page.
I love it. Well, our time is up.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Until next time at Momentum. See y'all.
See ya.